Lee Johnston and Cheryl Fraser have a dream: to move to Spain and breed snails.
So you can see him, he's giving it one.
Okay.
They've spent nearly 4 years looking for a suitable property, but it's been a frustrating experience. So now they've decided to change tack. They've contacted Lynn, one of Lee's old partners in crime from South Wales.
Where have you been? 3 days we've been looking for you. 3 days.
Lynn has an apartment they can rent as a temporary base just outside Marbella.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's lovely.
And a pool. This is as good as it gets. Yeah. It's fantastic. I think it's just what we want. Magic for us for 3, 4, 5 months, whatever.
While we're looking around.
While we're looking around.
In just 10 days' time, Lee and Cheryl are due to leave Wales once and for all and drive down to Marbella in southern Spain. To take his mind off any uncertainties over the forthcoming trip, Lee is busy customising his van.
I've made the van specifically so that when I come back and forth to UK, I've made everything demountable so it can all come apart and we can load it up with antiques or wine or 10 million fags or whatever.
He's built a false floor to cover the luggage, there's a special compartment for the dogs, and Cheryl's well catered for too.
She's got a loo. It had to be a flushing loo, and it had to have the blue stuff in it, so we got the blue stuff in it as well. All mod cons, job done. I've utilised a shower and a bucket. All you need is a kettle of hot water in there. Then Cheryl has a shower. And because she didn't want to stand on the floor, I've got little rubber mats for her and a shower tree. And that's it. That's all you need to get wet.
Cheryl, meanwhile, is catching up with some last-minute shopping in Caerphilly. She, too, is nervous. She can hardly bring herself to believe that after all this time, they're finally about to leave.
Well, 2 years ago we were going to go, and then in June we were going to go, and now it's October, and we're actually going. It's just amazing. It's so stressful, it's unbelievable. Remembering that you've packed everything, because when you're packing for the last time, you don't get a second chance, so you've got to remember everything.
Come on in. Brandy, Tilly, quick, in the van, quick.
According to psychiatrists, moving house is one of the most stressful things you can do, and moving countries at the same time makes it even worse. Lee is about to leave his home of 40 years, and although the dogs seem to be his closest family now, in his time he's fathered 11 children with 5 wives. Unbelievably, though, he's lost contact with all of them and has precious few mementos to take with him.
These are all the photographs I've got left out of all of my life, to be honest. Then another thing that he was a brave man, was my father, Johnny Johnson, and this newsletter. We commenced this newsletter on a very sad note indeed. We have to announce the death of Johnny Johnson. John served in the Royal Navy, joined as a boy seaman from the Royal Gwent Hospital School, Greenwich.
Although Lee always had a difficult relationship with his father, he nonetheless nursed him through the final stages of his cancer 20 years ago.
Were you close to your father?
Well, to be honest, he was a bastard, he really was, but I loved him. So that was my father, and that's all I've got.
Six days later, and this apparently typical day on Newport's commercial road has huge significance for Cheryl. She's worked here in the family's insurance business since leaving school 33 years ago. And this is her last ever day in the office.
Is this a permanent changeover or just...
It might be just for temporary.
Well, you're going to have to let me know.
I will let you know as a
Well, you can't... Well, yeah, you'll have to let Alison know. I'm leaving today.
Ah, sorry to hear that.
Why?
Yeah.
Because I've been here over 30 years and I've been here too long and I'm getting fed up and I want to go home.
Oh, your cousin's going to miss you now.
I know.
I bet Mark and Alison is, isn't she?
On the surface, at least, Cheryl appears to be coping very well.
The way I feel is that it's at last. I'm just looking forward to finishing here so that I can concentrate on doing all the things that I need to do to get us going.
But Lee is not faring so well. He's begun to panic about the financial pressures they'll be under once they get to Spain, and rather unfairly, he's putting the onus on Cheryl.
I bought 6 tapes to learn Spanish 12 months ago, or 9 months ago, actually, and they've never, ever, ever been used, so she can't even speak a word of Spanish. And yes, she's perhaps very good in insurance, but it's not a lot of good in Spain if you can't speak the language.
We do have money in the bank, but he's got this fixed idea that that money is not going to last forever. We all know that. But I know it's going to last long enough for us to get ourselves settled over there.
Well, my thoughts at this moment, this precise moment in time, Cheryl, you can have half the bank account, go and live in Spain.
Lee does worry a lot. He is a born worrier. And his stress level is just at the peak now. And there's nothing I'm going to be able to do or say that's going to be right.
But perhaps the real underlying problem of Lee's nervous state is something he's not so keen to talk about.
But the other thing is that I got a bleeding problem for my bum, you know, which is not good news. And I've been to a specialist, and he wants to do a what do you call it, exploratory whatever they do.
Well, I was very, very concerned about Lee's illness at first. It was very serious, and I was very, very worried.
She wants to go, and she doesn't care at what cost. She just doesn't care, as long as she gets her whatever she wants.
All we had to do was get a blood test and make sure that it wasn't the biggest thing that we didn't want it to be. Because him being negative and me being positive, I was convinced it wasn't going to be that. He was convinced it was. As it turned out, I was right, and it wasn't the big thing. That doesn't alter the fact that he's still ill, and he's still having tests.
We've got to go, and that's the end of that. Well, I might have to see specialists. Yeah. Well, you can fly back. I don't know, she's just very selfish at the moment, very selfish. I mean, it's coming to a stage now, it's 7 years, and I'm thinking, well, am I due for a change, to be honest?
So, there we have it. Apparently, it's all Cheryl's fault, which might well account for Lee's poor track record in his other marriages.
We're just coming up now to the old Wayfarers Cafe, but I don't know whether Ken the car will be in there. I'll just have a look.
He's on the way now to say goodbye to his oldest friend, Ken the car.
There he is.
Lee has not seen Ken for several years, but he couldn't leave without one last chat over old times. Hard to believe now, but the exploits of Lee and Ken the car in the mean streets of Newport nearly 40 years ago were apparently the stuff of legends.
No, we're not stopping. Just call in to see my mate.
Hey, well done, mate.
You're looking well.
I'm fantastic.
You've lost weight. You've lost weight.
I lost weight, lost money, losing hair. Apart from my leg. Hey, I'm shocked with you, mate.
The conversation quickly turns, however, to which of the old gang won't be dining in the Wayfarers Cafe anymore.
You know we dead,
Oh.
Bob Jones.
No, it's Lister.
I died almost a year ago now.
Oh, another one.
Oh.
Yeah.
And he had long been married.
How do you know Lee then?
We were in jail together.
You what?
We were in jail together. I know, I've known him. Oh, God.
Remember?
30-odd years.
Yeah, St Mary Street. Ken had a little whiz one time too with some televisions, I seem to remember.
Oh, aye.
But we forgot to pay the VAT, man. Everybody in Newport had a telly.
I know, from Jersey.
Dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Back on the legal side of the street, Cheryl's last customer of the day has her reaching for the paper handkerchiefs.
I just think 33 years is too much, really.
Well, I think it's nice to change because...
Yeah, it's not... I mean, it's not as if I'm going to stop working. I mean, I'm like Lee said to me, oh, I've never heard anybody retiring at 49, but I'm not going to be retiring at 49. I'm just
take a break.
moving.
Well,
I've got his number.
Incy is one of Cheryl's oldest customers and a good friend.
Chris.
They share a passion for car boot sales, and Cheryl is keen for Incy to come and visit her in Spain and sample the local equivalent.
I'll go to the one in Fuengirola. It's a big one, trust me. There's
Oh,
lots
I'd love that.
Oh, yeah. Every Saturday, there's a big boot sale in Fuengirola.
Where?
Mainly Brit people, but there are quite a few Spanish as well.
Really?
Yeah, honestly,
I
you'd
think
love
I should
it.
come in November.
Oh, do you really? Oh, right, okay.
Christmas shopping over
Right.
there. Yes.
That's a good idea. Of course you could.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
I could do that.
Well, I'm going to give you a ring, because I've got your number, and I will give you a ring. I promise you. I love you very
I
much.
love you too,
And
sweetie.
we've had some lovely lunches.
I know. And don't forget, call me.
Back in the 80s, Lee owned 5 pubs on the commercial road, and he's continuing his day of farewells with a visit to his old stomping ground. He was a big noise then, something of a local celebrity.
I owned 17 properties in this street when I was running the pubs because they were going to build a barrage. Had they built the barrage, all the property would have trebled in price, as you can imagine. This is the White Hart here. It looks like it's all being done up.
What was it like when you had it?
Oh, it was rough. I mean, it is a rough pub. And in front of us, they got the Mariners Hotel. Every day in the Mariners, there was a Barney with somebody. I used to walk around with lumps out of me, black eyes, and God knows what, every week. And the number of shirts that I lost, which were ripped off me in fights. It was just that types of pub, you know. But it was all good fun.
Well, those were the days. But now, school is finally out for Cheryl. She's filed her last policy, processed her last claim. Her 33-year career in this office has finally come to an end.
I'll miss everything. I'll miss Mark and Alison, all the rest of it. So... Anyway, we better shut this door, because it's time to go.
Cheryl's brother, who now owns the business, has not acknowledged her retirement in any way, but her fellow workers have decided to throw a leaving do for her in the local curry house. She's desperately hoping that Lee will be there too, but he's told her not to hold her breath. For most of her career, Cheryl has been looking forward to this moment. Her work colleagues, Mark and Alison, have booked the restaurant.
I don't think you'd have to go that far. I don't think
Judy and Maria have driven over from the Swansea office. And her nephew Owen is here.
She's a very wonderful person. I love her. And I hope we're the best when she goes.
Her eldest daughter, Teo, has come from Cardiff.
I think it's about time they should go out of that office and did something a bit more enjoyable with her life, I think, really. She's been there too long.
Her other daughter, Suki, has come from Carnarvon.
Oh, my God, she'll
I'm
miss
just in Spain, that's
the
all.
car boot sales. Do they have them in Spain?
Fuengirola has one.
Oh, well, they...
In fact, the only obvious absentee is Lee. He simply couldn't bring himself to share Cheryl's joy.
Oh, no!
But Cheryl is putting on a brave show, and her family and friends, at least, are determined to spoil her.
Ju, thank you very much. That is right. Oh, you... Oh, Owen's written on it as well. I will miss terribly. Love from Owen.
Here's a little something I made for you earlier.
Oh, God.
Pizza.
Oh, happy Leavement Day. Ah, right. A vanity travel organiser. Right. So you put all your gear in it.
Yeah.
Oh.
You guys have a toast now? Or?
Oh, no, he shook it! Whoa!
A toast to Cheryl.
We'll miss you.
We'll miss you, man.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
We love you all so
Thank
much.
you.
He's a good dog. Give me that.
We'll miss you terribly, Cheryl.
No, we'll...
really miss you terribly. We will not know what's hit us next week. We really won't.
For a while, we won't.
When it's sunk into us, we will be devastated. It'll be sad.
Well, thank you all very much. It's a little bit more than I was expecting. You sods.
It's been a highly emotional evening for Cheryl, and it's somehow tragic that she couldn't share it with Lee, but she's doing her best to remain philosophical.
I'm quite sure that now I've left, that we've got time to sort things out and we can get everything done, and then he won't be so stressed and stuff.
Kind of wish she'd been a bit more supportive.
No, I don't think Lee could have been more supportive, because he's not that type of person. He doesn't understand. And I'm not going to say anything against him now, so don't even think about it.
The next morning, and the brewing tension between them finally ignites, sparked by a call from Lynn requesting upfront payment on their Spanish rental property. In the ensuing row, Lee tells Cheryl that he no longer wants to go to Spain with her.
You've actually
In fact, it looks like it's all over between them.
spent 3 days not speaking to me, and now you've wound me up. Right, so that's it. You don't want to do this anymore.
Do what? You told me to go out and find some other bird to go to
I
Spain.
did not.
You did?
I did not. You've got no idea what I said. No idea whatsoever.
Anyway, we're messing these people around, so...
Yeah, that's right.
what is
I
it?
didn't want this to happen.
No,
All
but
I wanted to know was I supposed to hang around here, or could I go? Because I'm not going to stay around and be made a fool of by you.
What's the basis of all of this?
It's just that Cheryl hasn't got a clue. Not a clue what's going to
that
happen.
right?
Nothing at all. She hasn't got a clue.
I'm so stupid. I've managed to live on my own, or run a family and run a business for 33 years without any help from you. And you think that I'm going to go out into the big wide world and fall flat on my face without you holding my hand?
What did she
Is that
say
what you
then?
think? What haven't I got a clue about then? You tell me. What
About
haven't I got
moving to
clue
a different
about?
country and starting afresh. We're throwing away a good standard of living over here, and we're going over there to start. And you've got to have something that you've got to do over there, because everything you do, if you take the dog to the vet, is 50 quid. So you go in the pot and take 50 quid out.
So why have you only decided now that that is an issue? You've known this for many years. We've had dogs all our lives. You know how much it costs to keep a dog. Why are you waiting till the 11th hour to decide that we can't afford to take the dog to the vet?
Because it's come to
You
the...
know we've got savings.
What you're worried about is soaring costs, Lee.
Exactly.
And with no money coming in.
Right.
But it was always going to be, when you moved there, you always were going to be in that position.
Right.
Where you're not.
Precisely.
The other problem, of course, I got the bit of this medical problem, and which hopefully...
Which, of course, I don't care about at all.
Lee's problems seem inexhaustible. As Cheryl deals with one, it's immediately replaced by another.
And unfortunately, Cheryl has got this feeling that number one, I'm looking for another woman. That is the biggest thing.
I don't have that feeling at all. He's full of these ridiculous ideas. I have no interest in whether he cares about other women or not. As far as I'm concerned, I'm committed to you, and I thought you were committed to me. So other women just don't come into the issue. We've never discussed it. I don't tell you to go off and find somebody else like you keep telling me. Whenever we have a little row, you say, oh, go off and find some other patsy to look after you. I don't need anyone to look after me. The reason I'm with you is because I love you and I want to be with you. And if I didn't, I'd go. All right?
But Lee, you love Cheryl too.
Yeah, of course
No,
I do.
he does not. He told me this morning. I asked him straight out. I asked you, I said to you, whenever we have a row, you will never, ever get me to say I don't love you. Would you?
But
Ever?
you came down-
You will never get me to say it, will you?
Yes.
You've never got me to say I don't love you because
And you
it's not
came
true.
down in my
and every time
territory.
you say you don't love me
You came down in my territory.
in my territory, what are you like? You're a flaming Neanderthal. What's your territory? Oh,
My workshop.
the shed. Every man must have a shed.
In an attempt to avert a crisis, we tried to point out to Cheryl that it's the worry of the move that is at the root of Lee's problem.
That was why I wanted to leave work, so I could come home and we could do it together. But now he's complaining because I'm home and I'm not earning any money. I can't win.
Well, but you're not earning any money, what, for 2 weeks? You're both very capable people.
I've made so many mistakes in my life. Years ago, I used to think, oh, well, as long as I don't make more than 3 out of 10 mistakes, 3 mistakes out of every 10 deals I do, that I'm okay. But lately it's getting, it's 5 out of 10 I make. And I'm beginning to doubt my own capability, I'm 59 now. At 59, I haven't got enough time to go on again if I make the balls up this time, if you follow it up, my way of thinking. Like 20 years ago, you didn't even think about it. But those days are gone. And all the money we've got, I've got to make it work for us because we're not going to get another chance. And I'm terrified of losing it.
So the vulnerability that you're feeling, which I can completely equate to, and I think you understand, don't you, Cheryl, what he's feeling.
I just don't understand why he would want to take it out on me and say that he doesn't want to live with me anymore just because it's a bit difficult.
Well, it's who else can he take it out on? That's the problem.
Do you rather he took it out on me than the dogs?
I would kick the dogs around.
You flipping do, I'm your dead man.
So, not for the first time, it's the dogs to the rescue. But there's still the issue of the money for Lynn and the Marbella apartment.
Come on,
But that's where we are. Let's go see Lynn.
Right.
That's where you guys
I can't
are.
go and see Lynn.
Oh, you can't see Lynn.
She's stolen the money.
Oh, give us the money back. Cheryl, give us the money back.
She stole the money.
I didn't steal it. It's not your money. I just took it because I was going to be left penniless when you threw me out.
Right.
So we make it up then?
I suppose. Oh, dear. I love you to pieces, you don't I?
In the next programme, Lee and Cheryl set sail at last for the continent. And after the celebration, their progress through rural France is distinguished by a lightning pace.
So it's got to be about 150 miles.
It's not 150 miles. It says
It
60.
says on there that 220 kilometres is 140 miles. Thank you, I rest my case.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
No, don't worry, don't worry. You can be right next time.
But it's not long before Lee's patent shower provokes a heated exchange with the locals.
Round of kisses that I died for. I won't be long. I'll be 5 minutes.
Qu'est-ce que vous faites là? Dormir ici et prendre une douche?
I'm sorry.
Oh, flipping heck. That's all we need.